while passing through a settlement. The crew are hired by a merchant who believes his convoys are being ambushed by Knights of the Crusade. The merchant gives them the coordinates of an old abandoned industrial complex, being used by the gang as a base of operations. However, the rumours in the bars are of sightings of zombies and supernatural activities. On arrival at the complex, the crew are immediately spotted by the Crusader lookouts, who raise the alarm, muffled shouts coming through their heavy gas masks.
Intruders spotted! Trespassers! Unbelievers advancing on the south side!
Pick, target those sentries.
Pick quickly levels her rifle and takes a shot at the nearest sentry. The powerful lasbolt punches through the Crusader, killing him instantly.
Oh, we're taking casualties!
Pick takes a rapid follow-up shot at a second Crusader, but in her haste it flies wide.
What hell?
Wincing away from the incoming fire, the sentry blasts inaccurately back at Pick. Buck sprints up to cover, firing on the move at the Crusader high above him.
That was close!
With rounds ricocheting around him, the sentry fires back, widely missing the mark. Jack pounds into a crumbling wall and fires through a gap. The shot is on target but bounces off the Crusader's thick shield. Sparks from the ricochet scatter as the snarling Crusader barrels towards the crew. Laying down fire with his pistol, Dagger moves up to support Buck.
We're taking heavy fire! Need support!
Filled with zealous rage, a Crusader charges towards the crew. Gwyll pushes forward, targeting a sentry with his grenade launcher. The grenade glances off the watchtower rails and lands near the Crusader below, showering him in debris and shrapnel but only causing minor scratches. On a rear gantry, a young knight takes aim with their launcher. The rocket roars away, and despite falling just short, its deadly blast is enough to injure Buck.
Ugh, you'll pay for that.
Kalla advances to the high wall, snapping off a shot with his web gun. The charging Crusader is tangled and crashes into the dirt. On the right flank, eager to engage, a knight sprints down the raised walkways, followed closely at ground level by one of his gangmates. Over on the left, the relentless advance continues, with two Crusaders bearing down on the crew.
I've got your back! Smite the unbelievers!
At the rear, the two sergeants hang back to direct the defence.
Drive them off! Fight for the Crusade!
From his high vantage point, the gang's leader, a veteran chaplain, draws a bead on Buck, but the round fails to connect.
Keep up the momentum. Push forwards.
The Crusader lunges round the corner at Kalla, narrowly missing as the medic dodges the initial slash. Kalla fights back, but is wounded in the fray. To the right, Buck is also assaulted. Deftly avoiding wild swings, Buck splits the Crusaders in half with his axe. As the Crusader's body flops lifelessly to the ground, Buck suppresses the knight on the walkway. His advance halted by the incoming barrage. The ganger returns frenzied, inaccurate fire. With Buck's cover, Dagger vaults the low wall and fires at the same target. A ball of searing energy melts through the Crusader, who falls gurgling to the ground, clutching the smouldering opening. Seeing the carnage below, the sentry blindly unloads down at Dagger.
Damn you!
Scrabbling into position, Gwyll moves to take out the knight with the rocket launcher. His grenade lands next to the Crusader, shredding them with fragmented metal. Gwyll draws the attention of a sentry high up on the creaking gantry, who blazes down wild, ineffectual fire. Below, on the left flank, Kalla is still embroiled in combat. The Crusader overreaches and Kalla strikes a death blow before breaking forwards. Staggered by the speed of movement, the advancing knight shoots impotently at Kalla.
Holy creature!
In the centre, Jack sprints up to join Buck in cover.
Keep it up.
A Crusader at the rear targets Dagger. The robot recoils as the shots ricochet off his metal skin. Pick moves up in haste to support Kalla, but, cracking the air, his shots fly wide. Seeing the attackers gain a hold, the two rear sergeants reposition to join the fight. The chaplain fixes Gwyll in his sights. Loosing around, he gouges a wound in the grenadier.
Taking heavy fire.
Drawn by the sounds of battle, groups of undead shamble into the complex.
It appears rumours of occult activity in the area are confirmed.
Let's use them to our advantage. Keep up the pressure.
The Crusader finally shrugs his way out of the tangled webbing and stumbles in a frenzy towards Kalla, but Kalla is ready, fatally smashing the Crusader to the ground with a wet thump. Swinging round after the fight, Kalla's shot narrowly misses. On the right flank, the newly arrived zombies bear down on a Crusader, who swings round and fires at the closest zombie. One of the rounds strikes home but does nothing but pass through rotten flesh. Back on the left, Pick moves up to support Kala. Flying into cover, she blasts off 2 rounds to no effect.
Ah! Get it together, Pick.
Vile impunity.
Dodging the incoming fire, the Crusader shoots back at Pick, striking the heavy concrete wall. 2 more zombies shuffle towards the lone knight. Using the distraction of the zombies, Dagger repositions to the top of the step. Spotting the surrounded knight, the chaplain targets one of the zombies. The powerful shot tears through the zombie but doesn't even slow it down.
Pull back! You're surrounded!
Still suffering from his wounds, Gwyll joins Dagger. Hearing the commotion behind, the sentry leaves his post to assist with the undead. He rushes, fumbling, and his shot pounds into the ground. Eager to get out of the sentry's line of fire, Buck sprints up the centre. Seeing Jack, now alone, the sentry holds his position, shooting down at the crew's leader. 1 shot cracks into Jack's cover. The second smacks into Jack, gashing his shoulder. Ah! The decaying undead at the rear continue their march. One of the sergeants closes on Buck, but finds himself out of range of the burly mutant. The second sergeant repositions to assist with the horde.
Purge the godless beast.
Still bleeding, Jack dashes under the sentries to a better position. The zombies' number grows as gruesome noises fill the air. Realizing he's almost surrounded, the Crusader falls back, firing ineffectually at the nearest zombie. Ignoring the incoming fire, it lurches into him, dashing its claws against the knight's sturdy shield.
Get back!
Enraged, Buck charges across the open courtyard into the sergeant. Unable to deal with the ferocity of the onslaught, the Crusader is hacked to death.
Battle.
Over on the left, the lone knight holds his nerve, lacerating Pick with his fire. 2 zombies are drawn by the fresh blood of Buck's kill. Above, the sentry dashes over for revenge. He fires down. The round punches into Buck's back but doesn't finish him. Kala moves up the steps, discharging his Weber once again. This time the bulky Crusader drops to the floor, cursing.
Damn you!
Above, in response, the sentry shoots recklessly at Kala, only narrowly missing the medic. 2 of the undead split from the group to drag themselves up the ladder. Seeing her chance, Pick charges up to the Crusader entangled on the ground, quickly dispatching him at point-blank range. Taken by surprise, the sergeant scrambles away, blasting a hole through one of the undeterred zombies.
Why won't you die?
At the back of the complex, the horde surges forwards as one, eager for flesh. Dagger climbs up, emerging from a hatch.
Surprise.
Energy from Dagger's pistol erupts through the sentry's chest, sending him falling in a trail of smoke before hitting the ground with a sickening thump. Taken back by the weight of the undead, the chaplain unloads helplessly down into the horde. Following Dagger up the ladder, Gwyll draws his pistol on the remaining sentry but misses the shot. Jack climbs to a higher vantage point to survey the assault,
Almost there. No silly mistakes.
enticed by the smell of death and sounds of violence. More undead join the fray. The Crusader remains locked in combat with the zombie, keeping it at bay with his shield. Pick quickly levels her rifle at the oncoming corpse and fires twice in quick succession. Her shots evaporate its head and it collapses to the floor. With an accurate blow to the skull, the knight finally dispatches his assailant and flees the oncoming horde. In the centre, the 2 continue their relentless, growling shuffle towards Buck. Buck spots them and swings round, firing at the front zombie. The shot connects and the creature staggers but keeps coming. Feeling Gwyl's shot brush past his head, the sentry charges furiously towards the grenadier. At the rear, zombies rush the sergeant, one scratching him badly as he carves away hopelessly at the other.
Blood. Tasty.
Damn creatures!
Back on the gantry, Gwyll gets the better of the sentry and hurls him screaming from the edge, smashing onto the ground below. In the tussle, the sergeant manages to kill one of the zombies, cleaving off its head, dragging its undead corpse up the long ladder. One of the undead reaches the chaplain. Dagger moves across the watchtower and draws a bead on the Crusader below. The bolt of energy flies true, passing through shield and man alike, muffled gurgling sounds emanating from the Knight's mask.
Target destroyed.
The undead at the rear make headway towards the battle. Noticing the zombie rising from the ladder, the chaplain falls back and shoots the creature. Rotten chunks of flesh are blown away as the zombie piles through the fire and into combat. The Crusader manages to avoid the creature's claws, batting it away but doing no fatal damage. Eager to finish the fight, Buck recklessly races up the ladder towards the 2 remaining Crusaders.
Let's finish this.
Chopping the last zombie in half, the sergeant wheels round just in time and snaps off a shot at Buck. The powerful energy weapon sears through Buck, just missing anything vital.
Don't underestimate the Crusade, mutant.
Seeing smoke rising from Buck's wound, Jack dashes into the open and fires on the Crusader. More zombies make their way up the ladder onto the high platform. Gwyll joins Dagger at its firing position and launches a grenade at the Crusader beyond. The shell ricochets and explodes, killing 2 undead in a shower of metal. Smelling smouldering meat, 2 zombies hungrily dash towards Buck. Pick moves to an elevated spot to give better cover, whilst the horde grows closer and closer. Kala rushes to Buck's aid.
Hang in there, Buck. I'm coming.
Dagger targets the sergeant below, but dashes the round against the hard bulkhead.
Recalibrating.
Still leaking, Buck dives behind cover and snaps off a round at the sergeant. The shot glances off the Crusader's armour as he rushes into Buck. Despite his wounds, the clash is brief. Fresh blood sprays as Buck slices easily through the sergeant.
Aha, I'm not done yet.
On his tower, the chaplain dispatches his undead foe. Energy still crackling from his power mace, he snaps off a round at Gwyll. The shot ricochets off, raining sparks on Dagger and Gwyll. Reeling from the near miss, Gwyll returns fire with his launcher, catching the Crusader with shrapnel. On the walkways below, 2 of the undead ascend the ladder and shuffle towards the crew. Reacting quickly, Jack responds with a hail of fire that shreds the lead zombie. Across the courtyard, the horde climbs the stairs. Joining Jack, Kala fires on the remaining undead to no effect. High above, Pick unleashes 2 high-energy bolts at the chaplain. One sizzles the air as the second cauterizes through the Crusader's leg.
That's more like it.
Dagger takes careful aim, discharging boiling energy at the chaplain. Choking on blood, shocked at his own demise, the Crusader drops onto the steel plating.
Nice shooting, Dagger. Right, that's the Crusaders cleared out. Let's disengage and fall back to the abandoned farm to patch everyone up and hope these Zeds don't follow us.